and it does that.
Okay.
There you go. And just in time, I have 7:30. How about that? All right.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, well, I popped up at 7:30, but I didn't say we're going to call this meeting to order, but we called this meeting to order at 7:30. All right, roll call.
Cosgray,
Present.
Keller,
Present.
Foreman,
Present.
McCreary,
Present.
Schaffner, and Reedy is absent.
Great, got a quorum. First item on the agenda is the approval of the March 28th, 2022 minutes.
I looked at him, I didn't see anything wrong. Foreman makes a motion, we approve them as written.
Keller second.
And discussion on the minutes. Roll call.
Cosgray,
Yes.
Keller,
Yes.
Foreman,
Yes.
McCreary,
Yes.
Schaffner.
Yes.
All right, and that's approved. Next is the agenda. There is one amendment to add ordinance 2022-12, an ordinance to amend the 2022 appropriations ordinance to the agenda that didn't pop up until today. So it did not make the agenda publication last week. I think that's the only amendment I know of.
Keller moves that we approve the agenda as amended by adding 2022-12 ordinance.
Foreman second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Cosgray,
Yes.
Keller,
Yes.
Foreman,
Yes.
McCreary,
Yes.
Schaffner.
Yes.
Agenda is approved. First is visitors, and there are. Well, we got Mr. Little online who's going to talk, and we got Shane here. Who want to do first?
Shane can go. Mr. Little can come under
When we get
department
there.
reports.
Okay. Well, Shane.
Good evening. Some of you know me. I'll let you pass these around. Take one stapled one and excuse me, one and this one. This big. Okay. Some of you know me, some of you don't. There's some faces in here I haven't seen before. My name is Shane Hamilton. I'm the director of the Baltimore Festival here in town. I am here tonight to ask the council members if they would please allow the village, or sorry, the Baltimore Festival to have their festival on August 4th, 5th, and 6th, 2022 over at the Johnson's Park. The letter being passed around is a brief description of what we have going on. And then the other paper that didn't miss the stapling is a rough timeline of what we have planned. It's not tentatively set in place just yet, but this gives you an idea of what we're doing this year. We also asked in this letter, basically if we could move our stage the week prior early to the festival so we can set up the stage and I'm sorry, move our trailer, sorry, and set up our stage and all that. That's all involved in this.
Is that paper? Isn't that what we did last year? The
Yeah,
Sunday
same,
before?
yeah,
So
something
the
like a
same
Sunday before, the same thing we did before in the previous years.
So it's moved, moved Friday, Saturday, Sunday before, and then
Correct.
the festival starts that.
Correct, yes,
Okay.
yes.
I was just making sure you weren't saying 2 weeks.
No, just
Okay.
one week prior. That way we can set up the power and the stage and everything else that needs set up and involved in all that.
And Darla is not here tonight, but I'm sure she'll read the minutes. Debbie, this is something we do every year. The festival comes, they ask for it. council will give its general, typically give its general blessing, ask any questions about what's going on, and then Jeff prepares a resolution. That we then pass, then the resolution has the insurance requirements for the festival that they have to maintain and stuff like that.
Yeah, and we have all the insurance already set in place.
Yeah.
This year, we would also like to bring back the Baltimore Downtown Restoration. We have approached them. They've approached us. We would like to bring back the beer garden also this year. I think they've already been in contact with Chief Tussey, getting their ducks in a row, and hopefully we can get, some early staging and all that. 'Cause I know they have a lot of paperwork to do and licensing and all that. And obviously they would have an officer on patrol or on duty in their little enclosed in area.
I think unless it's changed from the last time I talked to Chief Tussey about it, he was going to volunteer his time to be the officer at the beer garden, because it's not open all day, every day.
Correct.
So Chief Tussey was going to do an in-kind instead of another donation. He was going to donate his time to be the officer at the beer garden for its operational hours.
Correct. And obviously, we've also brought back our, we've done a lot of things in the past with the spin and win and the prizes and all this. This year, Ace Hardware has kicked in pretty big. Actually, I think this is our biggest one yet so far. I don't have more of these, but I can pass this around. We are guaranteeing a minimum of $3,000 grand prize jackpot, plus another 2,000 in minor prizes. We've got going out in different winners, like a $300 winner, a $50 winner, a $100 winner, a $500 winner. I only have one of these if you want to look this over. I think that's our biggest one yet. We've changed our tickets a little bit this year. Instead of doing individual tickets, we're going to do the 5 for 20 to get more people involved in buying tickets. Obviously, we'd have our baby pageant. This year, we're going to do something different. We're actually going to have the Queen's pageant early, rather than tie up the whole Thursday, because obviously it gets dark and people are waiting around. We're going to have that early at the Opera House. But they won't know the winner, until Thursday at the festival. The way it gets a little bit, trying something new this year. The car show, of course, is coming back in. British Invasions is coming back. I know that's a big crowd drawer there. We also have been approached doing fireworks again this year. We've already been in contact with Casey Farmer and all the forms that we need to sign for them, which Hamburg Fireworks does all that for us because they're in contact with Basel and all the great paperwork they need to do.
I've always been curious why the pool closes and whose idea.
We don't do it
We
anymore.
don't
They-
do that
We
anymore.
don't do
did
that.
it 1 year.
Okay.
After
It
that, we
used to,
stay
but-
open.
So the pool's unaffected.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Are we still going to do the same thing we did in the past with the parking?
Yes.
Okay, because it worked out
I
good.
thought that worked out very well.
It worked out great for us.
Well,
Or,
maybe. One of the things we will have to do as council when the festival comes around is by the time the festival gets here, Summer's Choice will be a public roadway.
We hope.
So we will have
That's
to
right.
add that road to our road closure of Park Street.
Oh, yeah.
So we can still accommodate the parking. It's just in the process of becoming a public road instead of a private drive.
okay, nice. Good deal. Yeah, I think that little thing we had before worked out pretty well for the pool. Any questions for me? Wow.
I do have a question.
Yes.
Because, and I watch when the rights comes in and you're over there but that sidewalk there, how them trucks pull way up then,
Yeah, brand new sidewalk.
Yeah, they won't be that close, that sidewalk. That sidewalk, I was over there today, look at that. It's more west than them trucks will be pulling in. And they'll be pulling off of Summer's Choice or where the stage is to get into, well, usually that little fire lane.
You might want to tell them
Yeah.
because some of them,
Yeah,
I've seen them pull.
we won't do that to you.
Well, it don't bother me.
Yeah, well, I know it bothers me.
Well, it bothers
Well,
me, Chuck.
Well, I mean, when I see them set up, it don't bother me. But I've seen them.
Okay.
Correct.
With
Yeah.
regards to the sidewalk, they broke it, they bought it.
Correct. No, I will make sure that none of my ride companies cross that sidewalk, which usually they haven't.
Yeah.
The only one that may be affected is where the crafters are gonna go, but I don't think that's gonna be an interference. So.
Yeah.
And I'll build a cord cover when it goes on the sidewalk. It'll cover the cord.
Actually, isn't there some sort of fencing or barricading there to keep cars out of the park anyway?
That was removed for this project. We
But
built
they'll have
up,
to Go back for the insurance.
no, we built up the sidewalk for that to be a curb. So I do not believe that I'll have to go back. I will consult with our insurance company, but I think that we'll find that acceptable.
But the curb's a bit of a deterrent too.
Mhm.
So as the mayor indicated, there's no action required on council's behalf tonight. This is just more for informational purposes to council, which you've been doing for the last
Many years.
3 years.
Yeah.
At least, so.
Yeah.
I'll prepare a resolution in plenty of time so that it can go through 3 readings before the festival.
Okay. And obviously, I think the rides would like to come in early also. I think they come in, it depends on where they're coming from. I want to say maybe they come in a week and then set up, or they don't set on the grounds just
So
yet.
if we go, I look at the calendar, if the ordinance has, this festival starts on Thursday, the 4th.
I usually think been on Sunday.
So that would be
Might break
Sunday,
down
so that would be
something.
July 31st.
Probably give or take, they would probably, because I don't, unfortunately, we don't have the same ride company we had last year. They were already booked out, so we have a new ride company coming in. So I don't know where they're going to be coming from.
Why don't we, unless council has an objection, we can probably just go Saturday, July 30th, just to be safe.
Works for me.
And that gives you guys an extra day to get the trailer over.
Correct, yeah. I'm good with that.
Of course, it depends on the schedule of the ride company too. isn't it? Other-
If, well,
Fairs and stuff.
but if they come in a little bit later than that, that's fine, but if they want to come in on Saturday as opposed to.
And I think
Sunday,
before they've parked in the back, like next to that softball field, they just left them back there until they're ready to go.
And if something changes and they need to drop off stuff in the middle of the week before, just let us know.
Okay.
We'll figure.
And
something
I
out.
think in this letter also, it does ask the use of the shelter house again.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you,
Okay.
have you consulted with Missy and
Uh,
observing that?
We will.
Okay.
Yeah, hopefully there's nothing booked, which I think she knows about our schedule.
I know she doesn't always listen to the minutes, but Missy reserved the shelter house.
Yes. And obviously, it'll be, cleaned up like and everything else. While I'm here also, we have not dug the speaker wires in yet. Obviously, the weather has not been cooperating very well, and I'm not going to attempt to do that until 1, after the Easter egg hunt, if they have that Easter egg hunt. And 2, it dries out tremendously before I even attempt to do that. I don't want to be a mess over there.
Yeah, just coordinate it with Terry.
Correct.
Yep.
It's on my list to do. It just hasn't been nice weather right now. So. Anything else for me?
Any questions?
It was easy.
Yeah, because what, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, when you came in, there was all sorts of questions because things were changing, but now it's
We got the good crew in.
rolling along.
Yes, yes, exactly. Like I said, you can, email me or call me or whatever you want to do. I think the Baltimore Festival email is on that list, I'm pretty sure. Oh, no, it got mixed. I didn't get that on there. I can send that over to you if you want. For some reason, I did not get on the copy and paste. So,
The Baltimore Festival at Yahoo.
oh yeah, you can use that one. That one's fine. Okay. I know I had it on my logo up front, but evidently that got mixed off there. So, but yeah, I answer that, or one of our other guys answer that. Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Appreciate you
and
coming in.
Appreciate you working with me. Thank you.
Thanks. Shane.
Oh, yeah, I need that. I only have one right now. Thank you. Anybody else need any more copies?
No, I think
Or
we're
is anybody
good.
that's not here?
No, we're
Okay.
good.
All right. Thank you very much.
We're good.
Have a good day.
Thanks, Shane.
Thank you.
All right. Then no other visitors, Mr. Little's there. I will rock and roll through mine, so maybe we can get someone under Terry's report that will get him off the phone. Hey, project started. Terry's been busy, sidewalks and roads, lightning strikes that she'll tell us about. Big thing I have is 2 weeks ago was probably one of the best district advisory committee meetings for the health department that we've had in years. We actually had a bunch of people show up. Getting a quorum is often a problem, and this time around, not only did we have a quorum, but the meeting went well over almost 2.5 hours. There's a new health commissioner that was giving us updates, but there were some other outstanding issues that other people brought forth, because there's a county commissioner that's held captive in the meeting too. So a lot of it had to do with some township concerns and issues with health department stuff and some of the things the commissioner are trying to do. But we are proceeding on in reviewing how the budget is done. The new commissioner actually already started reviewing and saying, well, how do you assess this fee? Does it cover your costs? Which is what the DAC has been saying for years under the prior administrator. How'd you come up with this fee? And it's just, well, it's always been that way, and we had 5%. So we're impressed with the new health commissioner and his expertise in looking at how things get addressed. And then in an upcoming meeting, we talked the auditor into explaining exactly how the municipalities and townships allocation to the health department is determined. Because it's a formula, but while ours sometimes goes up, another municipalities might go down. So we're going to get more clarity on that. So that was in fact, I think I texted Terry like 10:30 and was like, that's the best meeting I've had in 3 years at the health department. So we have another meeting in a couple of months to keep going since people were engaged. So that said, I think our next year's things only went up about $300.
It went up. I haven't got notified of that yet.
Couple $100, nothing too bad.
Well, that puts it over 11 grand probably.
Other people's went up several thousands.
Okay.
So, but that's part of the reason why we wanted to also know how is it determined? How can ours go up $300, someone else's go up $6,000, and someone else's go down $1,000?
Which they take that out of your property taxes.
Yes, they take it out. So
As a deduction.
So we know it's a check we have to write with money we never get. It's kind of how it works. So hopefully we'll have more there, and that was about the biggest thing there. So
That would be one of those line items, Rick, when I say you can't touch this line because it's already been that's one.
yeah. The other thing that we're working on is we've got a contract with Lancaster, and the health department is trying to get Pickerington back. Franklin County Health Department does all the Pickerington health department stuff. And so they are trying to get them back.
So the largest municipality got peeled away from Fairfield County, basically.
There was a lot of history between a lot of people in the health department from years back. And so, yeah. And Pickerington's not the largest, because Violet Township is different. It's actually the city of Pickerington. But they do have a lot of people, and they are in the county. So we're working on it. So. All right, and then with that, if there's no questions, my stuff next is for planning and zoning, so I will pass it on to Terry, because I know Tim is on somewhere on here.
Yep.
With some bad news that happened.
So this morning around 9-ish, I received a phone call from the staff that the water tower had been struck with lightning again. So the staff, Mr. Little and Joey, have been very busy today. So what I decided to do, instead of me through everything, I thought I'd bring Mr. Little in to update you on where we're at and exactly what happened, because it's not a pretty picture right now. So, Mr. Little, you're up.
Well, basically exactly what you said. We took a strike, and I seen two strikes happen. The worst one was definitely at the water tower. It took out a radio that we had previously just installed there, along with a PLC, a surge suppressor, and we don't know if there's anything else yet at this moment. So I got on the horn immediately, got the PLC coming, they'll be here first thing in the morning, got the surge suppressor coming, be here 10:30 tomorrow. Got a hold of the radio people. I went ahead and replaced the old radio, put the old radio in for the replacement of the new radio. It seems to be working, but without the PLC giving it any information, it can't tell everything what it's doing. We thought that was the extent of the problem. And then a little bit later, we tried to remotely start the ground storage tank, which is something we've been working on in the past 6-8 months, and got it going. It would not work. Then we got on the phone with engineering, and they think something at the same time of that lightning strike also affected the ground storage tank. It reverted back to the old program in the PLC that would not let it go back to where we could remotely operate the PLC. So basically what we're doing now is we've manually started the ground storage tank to fill the tower. And unfortunately, it's a pain in the butt because you got to wait until the tower actually overfills itself and then go shut that high service pump down at the ground storage tank. That way, you know, your tank or your tower is full. And we got 12 to 15 hours, 16 hours of runtime on the tank we're not worried about at that point. So we should have a lot of replacement parts coming in tomorrow, along with engineering's coming in tomorrow to get all this back up and see everything that's going on. If that makes sense to, hopefully it makes sense to everyone.
As I told Terry earlier, I'd rather overflow the elevated tank than not have water in it, though.
That's correct. Absolutely.
It's really the only way to do it right now. If you remember, was it 2 years ago, we had the lightning company come in? What was that, Taylor Lightning?
Turner Lightning Protection.
Turner Lightning Protection. That was
Yep.
after the last strike. We had them come in and review what we had set up on the water tower and what we had at the ground storage tank to see if there is any protection additional that we needed to add. And they told us at that time, no. Correct, Mr. Little?
That's correct. They did do additional lightning protection at the ground storage tank, and then they went to the water plant and the tower and did assessments at both of them. And it's like, there's nothing more here to do than what you have in place now.
Was that done after it was painted?
Yes, that was after it was painted.
Yes.
So
Yes.
So our plan is, because I feel we did our due diligence and making sure our equipment was protected, our plan then will be to file an insurance claim on this strike this time. So that's our plan of action.
That's correct.
So how late do one of the two of you have to stay up waiting
All
for
night.
the alarm?
All
Do
night.
you have any idea when it'll fill?
I believe Joey has contacted the officer on duty to say, hey, if you see this thing overflowing, contact me. Obviously, if it's after midnight, 12:30, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, whatever it is, the time the officer gets off, and it has nobody's got a phone call at 3 o'clock in the morning or whatever, somebody's gonna have to go take a look, or the sheriff, either one. So, I mean, they all are, I think they were all aware of that you see this flowing on the road, call someone.
Hey, this is Brian Holbrook. Can I chime in here?
Sure.
Yes.
I talked to Joey a little while ago, and he advised me of what was going on. I just checked it. It's fine right now. And I work till 2400 tonight. And I've already contacted sheriff's office, and I'll make sure that at shift change they know. So if they see anything, they'll contact Joey.
Thank you.
Yep, appreciate that.
Yep. Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Little? Why I have him on the spot? Okay, he'll be joining us at the next service meeting for a learning experience that he's going to share with you, right, Mr. Little?
That's correct.
All right, I
That is
love that.
correct.
Okay, I really appreciate you joining us tonight. Thank you very much, and you don't have to stay on.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dan.
So you heard about our water tower. The other thing underwater is that tonight we have legislation for the CDBG grant for the Monroe Street water line. I'm still pushing that. Hopefully, if I can't get the whole line done, I'll try to get a portion of the line done. Also, if you remember, I think I was on vacation when Commissioner Fix was here. And so I sent him an email late last week and apologize for not being here. But the reason for my email was, do you have any money left over from the AARP funds for the county? He responded to me on Sunday and said, yes, we do. Send us your project. We are going to start reviewing the projects soon. So I had B3 revamp our Washington Street project. If you remember, that's a project, the water line that we put in, submitted to the Fairfield County engineers to submit to the state for infrastructure funding that we did not get. So I've made myself available for any conversations that the commissioners need to have with us. Hopefully we can just at least get a portion of maybe the water line on Washington Street. It would be great.
They said they'd add it to their internal list. So I asked to see the internal list.
So,
What are we going up against?
Yeah.
We'll see what I get.
So let's switch to the wastewater treatment plan. If you remember, Suez is going to be on site 419. We are right now pumping sludge to the sludge bag. Again, the BODs or the mixed liquor suspension solids are running really well. We cleaned membranes 2 and 3 last week. Before we cleaned 2, it was only running at 50 gallons per minute. After the clean, it was 190. So the cleans really worked. My question to Brad and the team is that when Suez is here, sort of like what we've talked about, what's the impact to our membranes? I feel as though they're the experts. They should be able to look at it and tell us this is the worst I've ever seen, or it's just discolored, it's okay. So I'm looking forward to that visit. Streets did over 800 potholes so far this spring. Lots more out there to do. We talked a little bit about what we are calling the corner project, which is 37 and 256. I requested from ODOT if they would please post at Canal Street and at Holder Road signs that say no semi trucks. I didn't get a no, but I didn't get a yes. I kind of got a, we'll look and see if we have signs. So at times they're difficult, we just have to have patience, I guess. We did order that additional radar sign, and I will check tomorrow on delivery. I foresee that being here soon. Right now, we have moved the other radar sign down to the school. So we'll be moving that over to Holder Road once this project gets going, which is it's going. So our Park Street improvement project, tomorrow, with the weather permitting, the contractor will be pouring the curbs, not only on Park Street, but also on East Market Street. So, the mayor pointed out to me, wow, I couldn't believe the guys were out there doing concrete work in the storm today. So they are really pushing to have all of that done so that they can clean up the area over by the park for that Easter egg hunt on the 19th. We did start construction on the Shade Pavilion at the pool. That's a part of the grants that we had put together and we've received some funding for. We did not receive all of the funding that we requested, so we're going to sit down and look at what we're not going to be able to do this year.
On that, in tomorrow's Eagle Gazette should be an article about the funding of the pool. I think
No.
it's-
That is going to be in Wednesday's Eagle Gazette, I think.
Tuesday.
Unless he does it. Well, he was supposed to come take pictures today and I told him I pulled the crew off the job because it was lightning. And so they'll be working tomorrow. So he does want to come over and take a couple pictures of what they're doing because, you know, that's a part of our, part of the grant is the donation of in-kind services. So I thought it was very nice. So he said he'd be here first thing in the morning. So maybe it'll be early enough for him to still meet the deadline. So there'll be an article in the paper about the improvements at the pool. We're also, I have Joey checking on some special paint. I didn't get a lot of complaints last year, but I did get a couple complaints that people thought that the zero entry area was a little slippery. So we brought the pool guy in who gets us our paint and stuff and had him look at it. So he's sending Joey a formula of something that'll have sand in it so that we can put it on that zero slant and then also on the steps. But other than that, it's about all we can do. We have rails and et cetera. So I had sent out 18 letters to the nurseries around and received 5 people who said they'd like to bid on the ODNR grant that we had. The ODNR grant is probably the longest grant I've ever seen. I think it's 18 pages long. It specifically says what the tree needs to be, where the tree needs to be planted, and how the tree needs and how it needs to be planted. So of the 5 that answered me, 3 of them said, no, thank you, we're not interested. But I did get a bid from 2 nurseries, and Steve Cockrell is in the process of looking at those, and we'll probably make a decision at Thursday meeting of trees on who we're going to be going with this year. More on trees, April 21st is Tree City USA in Mount Vernon, and the tree committee will be attending that for the village. We had some discussion about a building department, if you remember, and I had sent an email to Mr. Toole, who does the commercial. He said he would be interested in doing the building department, but not code enforcement. And I told him, fine, we got code enforcement covered. And so I said, just tell me how we proceed. So I'm still waiting on his email to tell me how he wants to proceed. But I think he's a very knowledgeable person. His firm is, and they do a lot of this. So it might be a win-win for us. Last but not least, Friday, I got a call, last minute call, that Scott Ryan, who has been appointed by the governor to be the speaker, or the communication person for everything Intel, was holding a meeting that I was invited to. So I attended that meeting. They're looking at 3,000 jobs, 10,000 indirect jobs. I mean, they've talked about things such as pop-up additional suppliers for this Intel project, which is the 20 billion semiconductor facility. I think it's a win-win for all of us. They keep saying this is going to be the next Silicon Valley. I think that we here in Baltimore could possibly see a spin-off of maybe a company that would be supplying them. So, or even residents, we have subdivisions that are in the works right now. So, you know, it'd be new housing. So I think it was very interesting, but it was a 3-hour meeting. And I can tell you after the 3 hours, I knew about as much as I did going in. So I think that there's a whole lot that has not been disseminated yet to the general public that Scott is in charge of. He's the former representative, so he's there in Columbus, and he'll keep us involved in, I won't make it a major report out to you, but I'll keep it as an add-on, so in case that we do experience some of this. And I guess that's all I have right now. It's been busy.
Questions for Terry? No, move on to Brian.
Not much on, except like I mentioned earlier, So far, we've got 3 lifeguards and 2 possible applicants for pool manager jobs. I'm not nervous yet, but come May, I probably will be.
Yeah, 3 weeks.
And probably not be spending the summer at the pool.
All right. Jeff,
3 pieces of legislation on for first reading. They all include emergency language. I'm assuming that they've all been discussed in committee this evening. Okay. And 2 pieces of legislation on for second reading and 1 for third. That's it. That's all I have.
finance.
Okay, Mayor, we met tonight at 6 o'clock. We had 3 pieces of legislation we talked about. On first reading tonight, resolution 2022-10, which is the opium puts us into a region number 18. With, I think, I don't know how many counties, maybe 8 or 9 counties somewhere. Then we talk about the 2022-11, the Monroe Street Water Line proposal, which is a CDBG grant. Then Brian brought up the ordinance 2022-12, which is a appropriation ordinance, the money that we are getting for the swimming pool, which is like a grant donation that he needs to put it in the budget. And our next meeting is May the 9th at 6 o'clock.
Service.
Service did not meet tonight. Our next meeting is the 25th.
Safety.
Yes, Mayor, safety did not meet this evening, but we will be meeting April 25th at 6:45.
And rules.
We met tonight. Everyone but Darla was here. We completed draft that for submittal to council. And I think that's all.
The hunting one as well.
And the hunting one, we also reviewed the hunting for newly annexed property, and we've also decided to go ahead and submit that to Jeff for legislation as well, as written.
And so we're moving on. DC, you still on? We're the police department.
Yes, sir, I am.
All right, you're up.
We still are taking applications. We have a couple of people that reached out to us this year, or I'm sorry, this week to apply with us. So we'll be following up with those folks. Grateful to get the information about the Baltimore Festival, pass that on to the chief, and we'll get to work on that. Make sure that we have things in place for it. That's about all I have.
Cool. Anybody got questions for the police department? Fire board.
Our board is meeting next Tuesday of next week.
Moving on, planning and zoning, we have this Thursday. We're anticipating potential meeting with that, some of the paperwork. So we are just having a planning commission meeting. We will continue talking about driveways and a growing list of. And then I guess I didn't mention it during mine, what'll come up again, but the Planning and Zoning Commission ordinance 2025 has a public hearing next month. House and we'll try to, in between the meetings, that it wasn't up on the website easy to find, so we did add that with the language so that if anybody is looking for that, it is. See what's out there. On planning.
Not, I kind of overdid my tree report out and so I have nothing else to report. We do meet Thursday night. This Thursday.
Records Commission has nothing. So we'll move on to motions. Motions.
Resolution 2022-11.
No, motion.
Motion for executive session after the meeting. Discuss personnel matters.
With everybody here.
Mhm.
DC, you can stay on, but I don't think it'll be necessary. Well,
Mm-mm.
no, okay,
And I'll second that motion.
all right. Discussion on exec. Well, we don't discuss exec. Roll call.
Cosgray,
Yes.
Keller,
Yes.
Foreman,
Yes.
Creary,
Yes.
Schaffner.
Yes.
Okay, we will have a brief executive session. Regular business. Personnel matters. Now we'll move on to ordinances and resolutions. First reading, resolution 2022-10, a resolution approving participation in the One Ohio Region 18 governance structure under the One Ohio Memorandum of Understanding and a declaration of an emergency. Sponsored on this one is Mr. Keller.
Yes, Mayor, we talked about this in the finance committee. And just so we can get part of that little pot of money we might get, we had to pass this, so we can be in like, I think we're in Region 18 with 6 other counties. So at this time, I move that we suspend the 3 reading rule.
Second.
Cosgrave,
Cosgrave.
second. Roll call.
Cosgray,
Yes.
Keller,
Yes.
Foreman,
Yes.
McCreary,
Yes.
Schaffner.
Yes.
All right, the reading suspended.
Mayor, I move that we adopt ordinance 2022-10.
Foreman seconds.
All right, discussion on 2022-10. Hearing none, roll call.
Cosgray,
Yes.
Keller,
Yes.
Foreman,
Yes.
McCreary,
Yes.
Schaffner.
Yes.
All right, 2022 will be adopted. Moving on, resolution 2022-11, a resolution authorizing the village's participation in the grant application process for the Community Development Block Grant, CDBG, program administered by the Fairfield County Regional Planning Commission for a water line improvement project and declaration of emergency. Sponsor on this one is Mr. Cosgrave.
I think time is limited on getting this passed, so it has to be passed tonight in emergency language. It's our application for money from Community Block Grant and to do the Monroe water line. So make a motion, we suspend 3 reading.
Roll call.
Cosgray,
Yes.
Keller,
Yes.
Foreman,
Yes.
McCreary,
Yes.
Schaffner.
Yes.
Your reading suspended.
Make a motion, we adopt.
Second, Keller.
Discussion on 2022-11. Hearing none, roll call.
Cosgray,
Yes.
Keller,
Yes.
Foreman,
Yes.
McCreary,
Yes.
Schaffner.
Yes.
2022-11 is adopted. Moving on, ordinance 2022-12, an ordinance to amend the 2022 appropriations ordinance. Sponsor is Missouri.
Yes, Mayor, this is a grant money that we would like to go ahead and amend for appropriations for the 2022 appropriations ordinance. I would like to move that we suspend the 3 reading rule.
Keller second.
Roll call.
Cosgray,
Yes.
Keller,
Yes.
Foreman,
Yes.
McCreary,
Yes.
Schaffner.
Yes.
Your reading suspended.
And Mayor, I'd like to go ahead and move to adopt ordinance 2022-12.
Keller seconds.
Discussion on adoption of 2022-12. Hearing none, roll call.
Cosgray,
Yes.
Keller,
Yes.
Foreman,
Yes.
McCreary,
Yes.
and Schaffner.
Yes.
All right, 2022-12 will be adopted. Moving on to second reading, ordinance 2022-08, an ordinance authorizing the village's participation in the ODOT road salt contract awarded in 2022, and the declaration of emergency. Sponsor is Foreman.
Yeah, this is just authorizing the village administrator to go ahead and move forward with salt purchase for next year. It has emergency language, but it is going to be able to go to 3 readings and then be adopted.
To resolution 2022-9, a resolution updating the district solid waste management plan. Sponsor is Foreman.
Yeah, this is just updating the waste management, and it's just on for the second reading and we'll go to 3 readings.
All right, so we'll leave that on for a third reading. Moving on to third reading, it's, ordinance 2022-07, an ordinance amending section the Baltimore codified ordinances, parking prohibited on certain streets, and traffic control map to provide for no parking on a portion of Short Street. Sponsor is Miller.
Yes, Mayor, this was in committee several months ago, and this is the third reading. So at this time, I move to adopt.
All right, motion in a second.
Who seconded it?
I got Cosgray out first. Yeah.
Okay.
Discussion on 2022-07. Hearing none, roll call.
Cosgray,
Yes.
Keller,
Yes.
Foreman,
Yes.
McCreary,
Yes.
Schaffner.
Yes.
5-0, 2022-07 will be adopted. No other third readings. Tabled ordinance 2021-25, as previously mentioned, has a public hearing set for next Monday upstairs in the Opera House. So we'll move on to old business. Old business.
I have one that didn't make the agenda, sir. I met with the commissioner, superintendent of schools last week. If you remember, there was an issue with the parking blocks, and we had asked Jeff to write a memo to the schools to ask them to remove them. Dr. Johnson had reached out to me and said he would like to come in and talk further about that to see if we could come to an agreement. So he met with me last week, and I will read his proposal. This proposal is regarding the current parking blocks located at Bellevue Athletic Complex, is from Front Street West, including in front of the athletic building. There will be parallel parking only on the north side, no angle parking, with no other parking on the south side. And there'll be the installation of a 5-foot sidewalk there. However, they would like to go from Fremont Street east and keep the current parking blocks that are in place and not remove any of those. That's his proposal.
The sidewalk would also be built there.
No.
It would not.
It would not.
So if I understand the proposal correctly, it's to take out the blocked parking in front of
The athletic
the
complex.
athletic building
Building.
that they just built, which is what, probably 6 or 7 spots.
It's about half.
Yeah, well, no, because you go past, well, I guess it depends on where he's calling that, because you get past that building, it's 30 feet long, there's probably another 70 to 100 feet down that road that they're set up on. I don't like it. Because it doesn't solve the problem, the blocks are still there.
This come out of committee.
Mhm.
That's an option for further discussion and review.
We'll do
And
that.
we have pictures.
We'll do that.
Yeah.
Yep.
That on the service committee agenda for April 25th.
It's coming up. We have a big agenda. So,
All right, and new business. All right. Any visitors?
No.
No one here, no one online, any last call, anybody got anything?
I do.
Jeff got something.
I just had to think about when you're talking about blocks. Okay, over there at the Johnson Park, where that new sidewalk is, where they park there for Johnson Park, are they gonna put like rails up or something?
there's supposed to be a curb.
Well, a curb, okay. I know they don't have it. But my problem is, I've been watching some of the trucks when
Okay.
they back in the park,
Mhm.
and I walked over it on the sidewalk, some of them has a hitch. They're over the sidewalk.
So maybe we put front end parking only there, a sign that says front end parking
Okay.
only. We could solve it that way.
That might be, if you know, because I noticed that a couple times.
Mhm.
And I just wonder if you want to add something before I say.
If we're going to, do we do parking or do we just do it parallel parking? Because some people park parallel there, some people pull in.
I know, they park all over the way. Yeah, they do everything. Look, I've seen them, I've seen people with a trailer and they're parked parallel. And, you know,
I think the normal sign says headed.
Okay. I can come up with a couple sketches for service and we could look at it.
service with that.
And maybe we should line it, because I'm
Oh,
telling
we
you,
will.
if you don't put lines on a parking lot,
Right.
you do not know where to park.
Okay. I'll have that ready for service committee.
Service committee is why we have our council meeting still at 7:30. We had a big break tonight. I have a feeling in 2
May not
weeks we
need
won't have any.
safety.
Yeah. All right, any other new business or anything? If not, then I'll make, since we stream and everything, the stream will stop online and it will not restart if the only thing we do when we come out of executive session is close the meeting. If council has to take any action after executive session, we will restart the stream at that time. So Brian, you can, no, don't end the meeting. No. Go up and just end your stream.